This is Michael Perozzo. This is my beer story. And this, right there, is Russian River Brewing Company. What you saw there a moment ago is the line just on a Saturday night in August. That is the line to get in to Russian River. I'm going to move away from the line for the sake of you being able to hear me. But yeah, the line is back there, and it goes for a while. That's the patio area there. I'm going to step over here into the lights and the tanks. As far as I know, most of the beers you enjoy from Russian River Brewing Company are still brewed right here, except for a few. They from what I understand, contract brew a few. Most notably, Pliny the Younger. A lot of that is happening at Firestone Walker now. About 3 hours down Highway 101, down to Paso Robles, which I hope to be driving through tomorrow. We'll see if there's a stop there on the docket. I'll have to ask my wife for permission on that one. But so Russian River Brewing Company, what's the beer story here? The beer story here is, man, I come to this place time and again, usually again after trips where I visit San Francisco for either business or pleasure, and on the way home, it's about an 8.5, sometimes 9-hour drive from the Portland, Oregon area down to San Francisco. I make that drive 3, 4, 5 times a year, and coming home, it seems to be really easy to kind of take a little bit of a detour and visit here. It adds, and it's going to add an hour and a half plus whatever I spend here, or whatever time I spend here, to the trip, and I'm okay with that because it's worth it. You're of course familiar with some of these names, like Damnation, Pliny the Elder, the STS Pilsner, Pliny the Younger, Blind Pig, Supplication. These guys just make phenomenal beer. The first time I visited here was after a 49ers game with my good friend Sean. And Sean and I, we'd visited some breweries like 21st Amendment and actually Magnolia Brewing Company we visited in San Francisco. And we were there for a 49ers game. And on the way home, we stopped here because who hadn't heard the excitement and the hype around beers like Pliny the Elder and, of course, Pliny the Younger, which at the time in the Portland area, I think 5 or 6 kegs of Pliny the Younger, their triple IPA, made it into the Portland area. And there's, lines around the block like they are here tonight happen in Portland for that beer, and they still do. But when we sat down here, it was amazing to be able to order what they call the everything flight. And you just ask for, I want a flight of everything, or you just say, give me everything. And they bring out, and right now prices is, we were just in there, prices are, it's $29. And you get 21 2-ounce tasters of some of the most phenomenal beer in the world. If you were to find a bottle of Damnation or Supplication or Consecration, that bottle alone could cost you $15 to $25, just depending on where you found it and how old it is. It is one that some bottle shops tend to sit on for a little while, and so you can find some aged ones. But so to get 2 ounces of that, be able to enjoy it and compare it side by side with Supplication and Damnation and Temptation and Perdition and all the shuns. They have so many shuns. It's a treat. It's a treat, and it's well worth it. And so we sat down there, Sean and I, that first time, we couldn't see the menu board, so we didn't know when we said, "Hey, give us a flight of everything." In our experience, a flight of everything had been like, okay, tops, they're going to bring us 16 tasters. Probably going to bring us 12, I've been to places where there's places you can get 8, 6. That's their taster flight strategy plan. They came out with 23 beers that night and blew our minds. Just absolutely blew our minds. So that was just an experience in of itself, and really that was the first night, because we're rewinding here. I didn't mention this, but this was 2013. Again, I got into beer in 2009. Started to really develop a palate for it in 2010. So in 2013, something we didn't see a lot of in the Portland area, Seattle area, there wasn't a lot of sours. Of course, I know you're like, oh, hold on a second. Portland, Oregon, that's Cascade Barrel House. They pretty much wrote the book on sours. True. But for me, I hadn't really explored it a lot. I hadn't really jumped into that ocean yet. But here, to be able to taste those sours in that flight, side by side, and compare them all, and just gather the nuances of what barrel aging and wine barrels did to a sour. It was an experience. It was fantastic, and it was just something amazing. So that's my beer story for Russian River. Love Russian River. Bought a little tackard thing at Russian River. One of these. I'm gonna put this up. I know this sounds stupid, but it's going in my bathroom office. That's where all my my tackards go. Is in my bathroom office. So that's where it's going. So to close this all out, of course, hey, give this video a like if you love beer. Subscribe. This is a daily vlog. At least that's the plan. So I hope you'll subscribe, give it a like, share it with a friend, because I want to hear your beer stories. In the comments down here, let me know what your story is. What today's beer story question is let me ask you this. 2-part question. What was your first sour? Can you remember the first sour beer you had, and what was your reaction to that? What did you think of it the first time? You might love sours now, but when you first had a sour beer, did you love it? Did you think this is crazy? Did you hate it? Did you think this is this is not what beer should be, and the whole style had to grow on you? Let me know in the comments. Look forward to talking with each and every one of you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.